to Alexandria, Virginia, here nearby Washington, D.C. Today we're going to walk through the old town of Alexandria, starting right by the metro station, which is very easy to get to from Washington, D.C. And we're going to wander around. So not much history, not much routes or any structure whatsoever. We're literally going to let the wind beat our back and see what we can find here in Alexandria. I'm starting here at a coffee roaster, 4 or 5 coffee roasters, and about to have a good coffee. So here, having a coffee, and going to try a very good treat in the very beginning of this broadcast. So welcome everyone, nice to see you here. Now, once I got here via the metro, it was nice because I don't remember the metro being so easy to get to in Virginia. Back when I visited when I was much younger, I was a teenager, and then I came here when I was a very little kid, back in the 1990s. And surprisingly, now it's super easy to get here to Alexandria. And apparently there's a free trolley, so let's see if we can catch the free trolley. But before we go, I'm taking a coffee break in the beginning of this video because I totally lost track of time, if I were to be honest. I finished the video in Arlington, got over here, and I totally thought I had like 40 minutes left to go live. And I bought myself a piping hot cup of coffee and an Americano and also a pastry to fuel up before we wander around. So since time got ahead of me, you're joining me for this coffee break in the beginning before we wander through the rest of Alexandria, Virginia. So Alexandria does have fascinating architecture, and we're in the newer portion of it, right by the metro stop. Alexandria is actually really, really big. It has a population of about 170,000 people. So it's a very big suburb in essence, or its own city, but it functions almost as a suburb for the Washington, D.C. All right. So here is 4 or 5 coffee roasters. I actually bumped into these guys almost 3 years ago when I did a live stream with my friend who does tours of Midtown Manhattan's food. And he actually took me at the end of that broadcast of 4 or 5 coffee roaster, which usually are in major offices in New York City. And here they're also in the major office building and right in front of the metro station. So trying the Americano, and it's very good. However, the Americano is very, very piping hot. You know, classic American style is when you order Americano, they make it very tall and they make it very piping hot naturally, because as a coffee consumer here in the US, especially in metropolitan areas like Alexandria, like New York, like Washington, D.C., like Boston, the custom is to walk around with your cup of coffee, go to your office, have it linger around for like 30 minutes. But things have been changing because of the pandemic. I can't really walk around with this cup of coffee because I have to wear a mask. We are in the metropolitan area, so there's a lot of density of people. So I've now come to embrace more the short Americano. Or if you are from Australia or from England, you call it a short black. Unfortunately, I did not order a short black. I ordered a long black, which is the default Americano. But despite all that, I got myself a pumpkin bread. Ooh, look at that. Whoa. So hello, Elisa. Good go coffee with you. 4K, nice to see you here. So let's try this pumpkin chocolate bread here at 4 or 5. The pastries look absolutely delicious. Let's try it out. Wow. This is a really, really good pumpkin bread. Nice chocolate chips inside of it. Very kind of moist. Very moist. It's not too dry like the pumpkin breads you might have in other pastry shops, or specifically coffee shops, when they buy like from like huge bakers, sometimes they come out a little bit dry, you know, a little bit more bready than cakey. This is more cakey. Wow. All right. One more bite, because I don't want to get too full, because I will potentially stop in another food stop here in Alexandria. I don't know where, but we'll find something out. I'm gonna take the rest to go, so I have something just in case there's no food later on. Let's try another bite. It tastes so fresh. I doubt they're baking it here, but whoever they hire for their bakers, they must be really close by, and they must be making this in small batches, not in huge batches. Because this is an excellent pumpkin bread. Wow, one of the best I've had. And the coffee itself is really, really good as well. I really love this coffee shop. Beautiful. Aiden, thank you so much for saying hi. I do understand sometimes people can't watch it during the day, so I hope you enjoy the replay. And the coffee is really good. The coffee is kind of your standard, good quality coffee shop type of coffee that you end up getting in most major American cities. So it tastes just like a Stumptown or a Joe or a Blue Bottle. Blue Bottle is a bit more exceptional. So Blue Bottle, I think, is the highest of the major chains of new wave coffee. So it is better than Starbucks. All these new chains, Stumptown, Joe, Blue Bottle, 4-5. Blue Bottle, in my opinion, is the highest among the chains. This is a little bit lower than Blue Bottle. This is like around Stumptown, Joe level. Okay, so I am indeed gonna take this coffee to go. Maybe I'll have an opportunity to drink it in a bench somewhere. Actually, one more sip before we take the trolley. Don't forget to use sunblock. The forecast said it was going to be cloudy all day, and I left my sunblock at my room. And all the clouds left. Every single cloud literally was sucked away from the sky. And I have zero sunblock. But we're walking through a historic town, so I should not be exposed to the sun too much, I hope, at least. Don't pay attention to the weather. The weather is not always super accurate. And did I have a nice evening? I did have a nice evening. It was very calm. I kind of went home and just relaxed. I saw a comedy special just to kind of, been researching so much that I just wanted to see something else. It had some very good Mexican food. Are you guys ready? Now, the coffee break portion of this tour has ended. We are now going to historic Old Town Alexandria. Maybe catch a trolley. Maybe go and find some interesting bites. Maybe if there's some interesting independent coffee shop, we'll try another coffee shop. Or maybe we'll end up on a boat heading off to the Atlantic Ocean. That'd be a crazy adventure, wouldn't it? The point is, this is a wander. So let's go and have the wind at our back. If you have any recommendations of what to see here, let us know in the comments. So here's 4-5. I'll quickly show it. So there is the metro stop. It's the Old Town Alexandria stop, or King High Street is called. but they have Old Town Alexandria as a subtitle. And this is like the new office area, which I don't remember when I visited here in the 90s, which strikes me as pretty new architecture. It seems to be maximum 20 years old, maybe even younger than that. It's giving me a lot of the vibes from these new developments that are popping up in kind of what used to be the outer areas of cities, such as King's Cross in London, or the Seaport area that we saw in Washington, D.C. briefly. Oh, B. Griffin, there's the Masonic Museum. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. What is the tower behind the train station? It is an old historic church, though I don't know what church it is exactly. So if anyone knows the church, do let me know in the comments. Today's tour is not researched, so we're not talking about history. We're just going to mostly admire architecture and do random interesting things. Christine, thank you so much for the proper term. So the proper term for these types of developments are called edge cities. Yep. They're rapidly urbanizing suburbs, basically. Now, Alexandria is kind of in an interesting spot because it is a historic city. But when you think of a city, I'm not really saying it's not on the level of like Boston or New York, definitely not. The population is 170,000. The Washington Masonic Memorial. Okay, cool. All right, we'll check those out. I think they'll be all in the same direction into the Old Town. Let's see if we can catch the trolley. Trolley's free, apparently. Wow, I can't believe how empty the streets are compared to New York. Yeah, big dog. If you're tuning in for the first time, let me know where you're watching from. So Alexandria, Virginia actually predates Washington, D.C. by a few decades. Adam, great question. The very first Europeans started coming here in the mid-1600s, about 1680s, 1690s. And then this was established, I think, around the 1740s. The trolley did not exist when I was there. Yeah, me too. Actually, I do remember the trolley, but vaguely. This is fun. Oh, I'm glad you think this is fun. All right, I want to make sure I'm going the right direction to the Old Town. I think so. I've just had a strong mug of tea, says Kay, and one of your favorites, a sausage roll. Oh, Kay, you're making me jealous with that sausage roll. So cool. And it's a cute city. Yeah, it is. We're about to see much more of the historic part as we go further in. Welcome back. Alexandria, Virginia is beautiful. Yep, that's what a lot of people were saying. Joe, including yourself, you mentioned it a few times. And I remember being astonished by it when I visited. When I came here with family, when I was a teenager, we stayed in Alexandria because it was a very good deal for the hotels here. And I remember being really astonished by the beauty of Alexandria. Are you going to visit the torpedo factory? Asked Tony. Great question, Tony. Where is it? Let me know in the comments. I didn't have the time to do any research for Alexandria, so feel free to let me know any history facts, anything that might be interesting to show. I'm making my way to the Old Town, as far as I think. I wish there were like signs that would tell me where the Old Town is, but I'm assuming it's this direction. King Street is the main street of Alexandria. Okay. We're on Dangerfield Road. So where is King Street? Is that King Street? Yeah, that should be King Street. Right down there. Yep, that looks like a King Street. No life here. It is very quiet indeed. Shout out from Houston, Texas. Welcome, Pia. Torpedo Factory is an awesome artist co-op. Ooh, good to know. All right. Where are all the people, Robert? Great question. I don't know. I don't remember ever Alexandria being filled. I think Alexandria should be more akin to a suburb than a thriving, bustling city. Unlike Arlington, I think, which is a little bit more of a bustling city, or Jersey City, for example. This is more of a suburb. A lot of the people here, according to the last census, a lot of them are working with the Department of Defense, so at the nearby Pentagon and all the different governmental buildings related to the Defense Department there, or they're working with companies that are related to defense, like Lockheed Martin, which is in nearby Crystal City. So that seems to be the case. Oh, look, an old style restaurant. Table Talk. This is Holland Lane. Excuse me, which way is King Street? King Street?
King Street, you can turn right.
Yeah.
And then around another two blocks and then turn right.
Okay, awesome, thank you. You're on Duke. Yes, I am. I'm on Duke. All right, so here we have a historic landmark. I'm glad we bumped into one. So this is the Edmondson sisters. And it says, the West End in the 19th century centered on Duke Street and the diagonal road. Largely undeveloped, the area was devoted to stockyards, agricultural shipment, and a notorious business, the slave trade. Yes, this entire town, city, was involved in the slave trade. One of the biggest industries during the 1700s. The house at 1707 Duke Street on your left was a part of a 2-acre complex owned by Joseph Brunin, a partner in Brunin and Hill, a successful slave trading enterprise. The property included this building used as a slave jail and office, a house where Brunin lived with his family, slave pens, various outbuildings. From here, Brunin purchased, warehoused, and transported thousands of slaves that were for sale in the Deep South from 1844 to the beginning of 1848. Mary Edmondson, 15, and Emily Edmondson, 13, who had joined 4 of their siblings and 71 other blacks in a failed attempt to escape slavery on the Pearl, which was a ship purchased by Brunin, was destined for auction in New Orleans, and a likely fate as fancy girls in that city's brothels. So these women attempted to escape. They knew that their fate was to go to New Orleans and unfortunately become a quote-unquote fancy girl, which was another word for a prostitute. Did they manage to escape? Their story and their father's efforts to free them became a call for action for the abolitionist movement. Oh, they seem to have never been able to escape. That's so sad. And yeah, the Potomac River. We're going to see it soon. The shadow is blocking it. The business of slavery, they have a few photos. Here's the Edmondson sisters in old age, on either side of 2 abolitionists, joined by Frederick Douglass. Oh wow, photo of Frederick Douglass. And they helped protest the Fugitive Slave Act, a federal law requiring officials and citizens in the free states to help captured runaway slaves. That's sad. Well, it's I'm glad that they end up it seems that they end up becoming free towards the end of their lives and helping the cause with Frederick Douglass. This is 1701 Duke, and this is where the slave jail used to be located. If you want to learn more about this, which is a very sad topic and very stain on our history, and many other countries' histories, of course. But I think this is a very recent stain. Brazil is joining the US as well. The film 12 Years a Slave is a very good depiction of what happened to a free black man who came to Washington, D.C. and was unlawfully kidnapped and sent to slavery. Just got in for work, and hello everyone. Hello, Paul, nice to see you here. It's tricky visiting these sites, because that institution, you can say that those were the times. People were doing what they needed to do. It came from another culture, that being British slave trade before then, and the Brazilians could say it came from the Portuguese, or New Yorkers could say it came from the Dutch. But I don't think there's any excuse if you were to adopt that system. I don't think there's any excuse to continue it. I don't think those historical figures should be excused. And I'm expressing my own personal opinion on the history. Let me know what you think. I don't think they should be excused. And unfortunately, we do have some major historical figures which we've talked about in our own videos here in Washington, D.C., including our very founding fathers. Many of them were slave owners who persisted in the institution of slavery. So I'm not sure if anything should be done. That, I think, is up to the whims of society to decide, but I think there is no excuse. So keep that in mind as we're walking around. This place is marred in a institution, an industry that was rather heinous. I don't think even in today's eyes, I think heinous just in general. Whether it be 2000 BC, whether it be ancient Roman times, or it may be now. It's heinous, regardless. Let's keep walking around. We will hopefully progress past our horrible history, says Jerry. The echoes of those times are still reverberating to this day. They are. Mike, thank you so much for tuning in. King Street is in your back. King Street? My back? Here? Judith says, thank you for saying so. Yeah, I think it should be acknowledged. So much new buildings like Battery Park City. It does have a very similar architectural style to Battery Park City. Elle says, hop on a scooter. No, unfortunately, I can't do that while doing a live video. I'm not an expert scooter rider, so hence I'm not qualified to carry a camera and scoot at the same time. In Alexandria, are there secret tunnels I can show you? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if there's secret tunnels. Great question. So Mike, there's no skyscrapers here because this is mostly a historic town. And also this is not quite a big city, but you will find skyscrapers in Arlington, Virginia. That's where you'll find skyscrapers. So let's go back this way to go towards the Old Town. Wait, is the Pentagon in Alexandria or Arlington? Pentagon is right below Arlington and above Alexandria. So it's not in Alexandria. The Pentagon, it's its own like city or area. It's called Pentagon City. It has two metro stops. Good place to live, says Joshua. It seems to be. It's attracting a lot of people who worked in different governmental positions and also private companies that are related to governmental functions. Lots of young people moving in here. So I think it is a thriving residential area. Do members of Congress live in Alexandria? Great question. You know, members of Congress are representatives of their area, so a lot of them are based in their home district. So there's many members of Congress. For example, like Alexandria Ocasio. Not to talk about her politics, but that's the only member of Congress I know off the top of my head. She most likely lives in New York. They might have apartments here, though I'm not sure where. And you know, I would bet there are probably a few of them that may have an apartment here while they do business or, you know, do work in the government. How old are the buildings in the Old Town? We're going to see a few buildings from the 1700s mostly. I think that's the extent of how old they get, around 1750, 1760. Brad Toll is the big contractor in Alexandria. Oh, thank you for letting us know, Robert. Had a friend that lived in Alexandria years ago. Nice city. Kay says, we started level 5 lockdown at midnight last night. Deserted streets once again. Oh no. You know, Virginia is actually in the opposite. Even though this seems very empty, Virginia is actually way more open than other nearby states. Definitely more open than New York or DC. But it still seems fairly empty. But let's see the main street, which is King Street. We're gonna walk back to it. Asma, I'll be live tomorrow again, 1 p.m. If you're curious, I'm going live every single day, 1 p.m. until Monday 26th. What's the ranks like? Ooh, I don't know. Must be pretty expensive. Definitely on the higher end. Are there any major colleges and universities here, Mark? Great question. I don't know. If anyone can let us know in the comments. Are you going to do a haunted tour tonight, Wendy? No haunted tour tonight. I know Alexandria offers haunted tours. I think only one of them is running, and it's a haunted bar crawl. So it's like drinking and ghost stories combined. I would do a video of it, but when it comes to those type of events, I have to get permission beforehand, and I didn't have time to reach out to them. Virginia is so pretty. I used to stay at Arlington Court Suites for work trips, says Shirai. Yeah. I used to stay at the Travelodge Motel, which is nearby as well. That's so cool they used to stay here. Beautiful area to stay. Oh, Robert, don't discuss politics here on this channel or current news, but feel free to ask me anything about history, travel, food, culture. What's for dinner? Ooh, I don't know, but I will. Let's feature some food for this video. So let's walk around, and then let's see if we bump into some food. Let me know if you have any recommendations for food here. I'm curious as to know what people like to eat in this neighborhood. And Kay says, drunken hunted bar crawl sounds like fun. It does sound like fun. Does sound like it. Maybe one day I'll do it in Ireland. Ireland, I'll be sure to reach out to a tour company. Maybe they'll be down to do a video of it. How's your Airbnb? Very good. I'll show you what the Airbnb is like at the end of my trip and where it is. Lori, did I have a nice evening last night? I did. Very relaxing. Good Mexican food. Saw a nice stand-up comedy special. Took a break from researching. And had a very good sleep. Walk to South Peyton Street and make a left and walk 2 blocks to King Street. All right. Oh, look at this. Huh, this collection of houses. Search for Il Porto, says Manolito, here in Alexandria. Okay, Il Porto. Gracias, Manolito. Hello, Dwayne. Are you in King Street? No, I'm not. Are you in West Virginia? No, Dwayne, I'm in Northern Virginia, not West Virginia, the state. Jacqueline says, you got the best GPS service here. Oh, cool. Do not jaywalk in Virginia. Yeah, I'm not jaywalking. I'm abiding by the traffic laws. Beautiful old church. I miss the busy atmosphere of New York City. Well, I'm traveling right now, so I don't mind it being less busy. Would I live in a neighborhood like this? No, my personal taste, not right now. But in terms of travel, I don't mind it. It's nice to visit a quiet area from time to time. What's the temperature right now? It's getting very hot. It's about 78 degrees Fahrenheit, 79 degrees Fahrenheit. It's getting pretty hot. To your left is the way to King Street. To my left? Oh, King Street. Oh, no. Okay, let's go to the Old Town. King Street, I think, is... No food places, not yet, but we're going to like one of the main streets that goes down. Wow, so beautiful. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. You know what? Let's actually, yeah, we'll go through here. Beautiful street. Let's wait till cross. Lots of cars passing. I'm like a laid-back Lenny type of guy. I am laid back. Can I swim to DC? Personally, I can't. I'm not Michael Phelps. Can Michael Phelps swim to DC? Maybe. Maybe. Might be a little bit nasty water, though. If you went one block to your left, you'll be on Prince. There are beautiful houses here. All right, a lot of people know a lot about Alexandria. That's so cool. What do you mean nasty water? Well, Mike, most of these waters have been used for heavy industry for a good portion of the 1900s. And also for lots of transporting goods back and forth. A lot of those ships let off oil and other kind of waste. And also, Washington, D.C. is known to have runoff, sewage runoff. So that's what I mean by nasty water. It's the case in most major cities around the world. But of course, times are changing and waterways are getting better. But I don't mean as a negative judgment upon the waterway. It's just the fact. Many waterways of major cities and major rivers don't tend to be the cleanest. It's a very English looking area, says Paul. Oh no, Paul says he's English. It doesn't look like anything like in England. Chat room, order an Uber boat for you. Oh, I wish Uber had Uber boats. Oh wow, this is beautiful. Let's walk a little bit through Prince Street. Thank you for recommending Prince Street. Not in Soho, but in Alexandria. Welcome. Wow. In Alexandria, yeah, there's the Spite House. Maybe we'll bump into it. This is Prince Street? Yes, it is. Welcome to Prince Street. Brick sidewalk. one of the early buildings. This is Historic Alexandria Early Building Survey Foundation. So this is very, very old. How old is this neighborhood? Mid 1700s. Became more prominent early 1800s. Beautiful. Yeah, a bookstore. Let's just take a peek through the window. Ah, lots of books about African American culture here. Beautiful. Go in. No, I don't think I'll go in. You know, when it comes to live video, sometimes I've done this for quite a while, and there's a gut feeling that I rely on, whether I feel okay going into a location with, you know, my phone and my gimbal or not. And while that place seems nice, and I would go in if I didn't have a camera, I just, for some reason, it seems a little bit too small and too close to kind of just walk in with the camera. So that's why sometimes I don't go into places, and sometimes I do. Bigger the city, the better it is, the easier it is to kind of just jump into places. Oh, wow. Look at this. Oh, that's beautiful. John, I could have asked now. That's a bit complicated. I'm still here. Hopefully everyone's able to still see me. Il y a un français? Non, parle plus français. Je suis New Yorker. American. Je suis American. No, I don't speak French. Just, I'm American, only speak Spanish and English. Oh, very beautiful boutique store. So now we're on King Street, the historic street dating back to the early 1700s. The street that George Washington himself took many times to get over to Mount Vernon and other locations. Here we are, historic King Street. Let's cross the street. I'll show you a little bit in the middle of the street. And look at the shadowy side. Artware. Ooh, I'm gonna buy a good souvenir here for family. Cool little stores. We have time to visit Mount Vernon. No, I don't think I'll be visiting Mount Vernon. Though I was tempted to maybe go to Colonial Williamsburg. I wonder if things are open there and if it's easy to get there. By the chat room, something says Robert. What souvenir would the chat room want? Here's a little beer garden. Oh, that's nice. Washington grew hemp commercially, yes, including cannabis, and he was known to smoke it. He liked this cannabis, according to many accounts. John, request for meets pet dog. John, this is not quite that channel. It says that my live stream got down on Facebook. Well, that sucks. If anyone could go on Facebook and let the Facebookers know that it's not working, and they could watch on YouTube, do let them know. That kind of sucks. I would restart it, but I think we're already too deep. So I hope Facebookers know that we're back. And medicinal. I'm not sure if George Washington used cannabis strictly medicinally. I don't think there was quite. There probably was medicinal uses for cannabis, but I think it was probably recreational. But though I'm speculating, but I would say that's recreational. Lori's Table. Ooh, nice little restaurants here.
I would have a headache.
Ooh. Oyster bar. Oh, so cool. Just Kate. Hey. Just Kate, thank you so much for tuning in from Facebook. Welcome to the more reliable streaming service. Facebook is pretty reliable, but unfortunately something happened. I'm not entirely sure what. Here's Alexandria Cupcake. Interesting. Okay, who wants a cupcake? Let me know. Let's check it out. It's called Alexandria Cupcakes, and I'm curious, mostly because tomorrow I'll be going to Georgetown. And in Georgetown, there's two big cupcake shops. Of course, the one that is most famous is Georgetown Cupcake, and we're gonna pit it against another cupcake. But let's see, not Georgetown Cupcake, but let's see Alexandria Cupcake. Let's go. Cupcakes.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, which one's your popular one?
A red velvet.
Red velvet. Okay,
Yeah, 100%.
I'll have one red velvet. Thank you.
You doing a vlog?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Of historic Alexandria.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Any recommendations around here?
Recommendations?
Yeah. For like other food specifically.
Food.
Yeah.
I don't know if Hank's Oyster Bar is open, but like they're like, I don't know
Oh,
about
cool.
historical, but like their food's really good.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You said you wanted a red velvet?
Red velvet, please. Yeah.
Closer down towards the water.
Yeah.
Like everything's over there.
Oh,
like,
cool.
Like, just stay on this street. Just go straight down towards the water. You will tell it's gonna get like a lot busier.
Oh, that's
and
good.
it gets even busier at night.
Okay.
Anywhere closer to the water.
Okay.
It's really good. This will be 318.
Awesome. Thank you.
Are you just visiting or do you live here?
No, I'm visiting DC. I'm from New York,
Okay.
and decided to come here for like a small day trip.
That's cool.
Yeah. But DC is very, very quiet. More
Yeah.
so than other cities I've been to.
Definitely.
Yeah. Is it more vibrant here at night in Alexandria?
It gets a lot busier at night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you have a good one.
You too.
I'd say around like the afternoon.
Okay.
And then like it's the weekends where it gets like really busy.
Yeah.
And then again, it's just busier towards the water. Everyone starts going home around like 12.
Oh, interesting. Oh, pretty late.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a pretty late night over there. It's pretty fun.
Oh, that's cool. All right,
And
man.
there's like a side of the street that's like closed, so like people just walk over there
Yeah.
and then go to the different restaurants. It's fun. You'll enjoy it. If you're staying here tomorrow, if you got nothing going on, I'd say check it out.
And are the boats still running on the Potomac?
I'm not sure, but they have like some people, they like play music over there. There's like balloons that they sell. It's
Oh,
like a
cool.
whole thing, like people know about it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Have a great day.
Yeah, yo, good one.
Oh, that was very cool. Yeah. All right.
You would have been living good, baby. You would have been living good, baby.
He's getting it good. He's getting it good. He was on the Bluetooth. I couldn't quite tell. Sometimes it's a bit tough. Sometimes it's a bit tough. Are they talking to themselves or are they on Bluetooth? Probably people think the same thing with me with this camera. So, this was in Alexandria. I'm not sure if you heard the guy, really cool guy. He was saying that it's vibrant at night, and the nightlife here tends to stay up until about 12. And that it's more vibrant the closer you go to the waterfront, which we're going that direction. But let's try first Alexandria Cupcake. And we'll keep this in mind because tomorrow we're trying Georgetown Cupcake, which is probably known as one of the kings of cupcakes. All right. Look at that. Okay, yeah, unfortunately it broke down on Facebook. If anyone from Facebook can share on the Urbanist group page, please do. Facebook has been giving me issues these past few weeks, as you can tell from Boston. Not entirely sure what's happening. I will restart it, but I don't want to risk Facebook going down, so the show must go on. But Facebookers, you can see me tomorrow again at 1 p.m. Just hopefully all goes well tomorrow. All right, let's try this out. Wow. This is, I smell myrrh, incense. It smells like a Catholic church. And I think the smell is coming at a perfect time. There might be like a spiritual store right next door, I'll show it. But it's a perfect smell because this is quite a holy experience. Wow. This is really good.
So what do you want to do?
Really good cupcake. What really blew me away the very first bite is the topping. It's not frosting. It's actual cream cheese frosting, and very thickly taste cream cheese frosting. They're not skimping out on the cheesiness of this cream cheese frosting. I pretend to be talking to keep the crazies away, says Lucy. And it looks so good. It does. Ooh, this is a great quality cupcake. The cake itself is very nice and moist. Red velvet is like a devil's food cake that has red food coloring, so there's not actually any strawberry or any cherry or any raspberry or anything. It's not even real chocolate. Most of the time it's not real chocolate. It's called devil's food cake because it's deceivingly tastes like chocolate. Hence, it's the devil's food. So it's very good. It's very tasty. It tastes chocolatey, though probably doesn't have any chocolate, just like every other red velvet cake. The frosting is very high quality. It tastes very fresh and very cheesy. Cheesy in that kind of cheesy might not be the best word, but that cream cheese taste. You ever had a cream cheese on a bagel? It has that strong cream cheese taste to it. I'm gonna have one more bite. Oh yeah. I lied. I'm gonna have the entire thing. That is a revelation. Wow. Georgetown is going to have some tough competition. Everyone, highly recommend Alexandria Cupcake. Georgetown tomorrow is going to have some tough competition. So stay tuned tomorrow as we go to historic Georgetown, learn about its history. But pit two of its big cupcake shops against each other. Georgetown Cupcakes, and I think the other one's called Big Bakes or something like that. So, delicious. Wow. I would come back here and have like 3 others. They also had like a pumpkin one. Drink some water before I go. Devil's Food Cake has cocoa instead of melted chocolate. Yeah, so no milk chocolate, nothing like that of the sort. Oh yeah. So this just joined the Battle of the Cupcakes. Stay tuned for tomorrow for the Battle of the Cupcakes to continue, pitting the 3 cupcakes against each other. Virginia versus DC. And I'm having an almond fantasy cake now from Russian Bakery, says Susu. Oh cool, Susu. Let us know how it is. And red velvet is very dense. Oh yes. Red velvet, this one was very dense. So usually red velvet is a dense cake. Very rarely you will see a kind of a light, frothy red velvet. Then it's not really like a classic red velvet. So yeah, very dense. Let's continue onward through historic Alexandria, tasting its food, seeing its shops, admiring its architecture. The Battle of the Cupcakes. Virginia 1, DC 0. Yeah. So here's Virginia, Alexandria Cupcake. Really great cupcake. Excellent. So let me throw this away over here. Have you tried Red Ribbon in Queens? No, I haven't tried Red Ribbon in Queens. So where was that myrrh scent coming from? Let's see. Oh, that's where it was coming from. Om, Tibet. That's why there was a sense of myrrh here. What's the temperature? 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Always try to support locals. Yes, indeed. So if you come here to these places, do give local shops your support. Give them your business. You know, if you're traveling and you're in between cities, then of course, then it's okay to grab that Starbucks. It's okay to grab that McDonald's or go to that Chipotle. But if you're in a city like this with a lot of small businesses, consider forgoing that Starbucks or forgoing that Chipotle or whatever chain is in your nearby area and going to one of the small businesses. I think it's worth it. So someone gave a super chat. Joe says, buena clima in DC. Gracias. Sí, Joe says it's good. JWS, sorry. JWS it says that it's good weather here. Thank you so much for the super chat. Gracias por el super chat. Tú compraste the cupcake. So the cupcake is sponsored by JWS. All right, let's see what's here. Oh my God, a beautiful cafe. Whoa. Everyone, beautiful cafe. They have Halloween flavors. Oh, I'm really liking this area. Wow, beautiful. Cynthia says, I like this area. Very quaint. Me too. Yep, I'm liking it as well. Very quaint, very beautiful. Perfect weather in Arizona too. Oh, that's awesome. Try giving the shops a donation, says Adam. And we'll respect Adam. Thank you, Kay. I appreciate you posting on Facebook, letting everyone know that I'm still on. Ben, you were born in Alexandria. Ooh, Ben, let us know if you have any recommendations. There's usually a line at Georgetown. Yep. But it is the pandemic, so we might have the good graces of being able to have no line. Whoa. Hey, Deanna. Yes, this place looks gorgeous. Gorgeous indeed. I left when I was 2, says Ben. Okay, cool, Ben. I'm glad I could show you your childhood, your very, very early childhood home. Our artisanal coffee roaster over here. Should we try it? Misha's Coffee. Keep walking down King Street to see the rest of the shops to get to the restaurant area. Yes, we're gonna do that. Hunter, we're gonna do that. I'm very curious about this coffee shop. It's just something attractive about it. So let me just take a peek. Maybe it'll be worth for a good espresso. I just love the storefronts here. Susan, I want something sweet now. Oh, you do? Nice. All right, let's go inside. Loud music there. So let's save the coffee. Maybe there's another coffee shop down there. Also, it looked a little bit like a very old school, kind of 90s style coffee shop. I'd rather try something a little bit more modern. So let's continue walking down. Or something very old school, if it's like, though that's a little bit more rare in these cities in America. $2.99. Welcome, Susu. Thank you. Okay, you sponsor the next either coffee drink or treat or food, whatever we end up bumping into. Let's wait for the walking sign. There was a sign for a friendship house. Todd, you say I can do Georgetown cupcakes online, ordering it. All right, thank you for the recommendation, Todd. I appreciate that. Susu, I will sponsor your next coffee break. Okay, cool. We'll see if we bump into a coffee. Thank you for doing so. I'm gonna walk on the shadowy side. Because here today on Urbanist, we have no sunblock. Finally, someone who doesn't talk politics is so refreshing. Just come and enjoy your videos. Yes, Native American. No politics here. It was an enjoyable show. Usually with history and some talk about food. But today, no history, just food and wandering around and architecture. I'm glad you enjoy this politic-free atmosphere. Of course, there's many other great channels for politics. Ooh, this used to be an old theater. Seems like it. Now it's a Patagonia. Urbanist is the best channel to travel in Noah City. I'm glad you enjoy this type of content. As I'm doing more of these videos and noticing that people on YouTube really like the spontaneous type of videos as well, I am embracing kind of showing you these videos live and spontaneously without too much planning or agenda. And I think it's an interesting way to explore a city. Can you recommend some podcasts to listen to, Manolito? For DC, I haven't found too many podcasts for DC. So I can't recommend anything DC specific, but in general, check out 99% Invisible, the Bowery Boys for New York City history. More general things would be the Fertility podcast is very good about kind of like weird stories about history. Many others. I'll think of more. Let me see. What else do I listen to? I listen to a lot of things. Ooh, Southern Fare. Oh, cocktails. Oh, that's nice. Mike. Be nice, Mike. Be nice. And Five Guys is there. Yeah, Five Guys is here. Great burgers, but again, as I mentioned before, there's plenty of opportunity to have Five Guys, especially in major cities, especially in areas where there isn't that many small businesses. But if you're here, well, Five Guys is a great chain. I would recommend having a burger maybe at one of those small businesses while you're here, I think. And this applies to any other area with small businesses. Maybe in the neighborhoods of cities where there are also small businesses, like in New York, there's East Village, or countless other neighborhoods. Boston, same thing. Oh, pollinator. Oh, that's so cool. Another beer garden. Lots of beer gardens in this neighborhood. Village Beer House. Five Guys started in Virginia. Oh, that is cool. That is interesting. I wonder what's the original. Thank you for letting us know. The Travel Channel is nothing like this. Indeed, yeah, Travel Channel is a different experience from these videos. Magnolias, but not the Magnolias from New York. Different Magnolias. How's the tap water in DC? I've had only a few moments of tap water. It's good. Tastes good. Nothing too different from New York tap water. Let's wait for the crossing. Hey, Ariel. Same name. Welcome. Nice to see you here. It started in Arlington. Really? Mike. I see an Irish pub across the street. Is there an Irish pub? We're passing through Washington Street. Jump on the scoot. No, Aquin. No scooters here. Showers are pleasant at your Airbnb, I suspect. Yes, they are, Chris. Is it mukbang time? Yes, says Chris. Soon, we're getting to the waterfront. Once we get to the waterfront, we're gonna see more interesting places to eat. Chicago areas have highly rated water too. That's good to know. Yeah, in the US generally. And again, this is a travel show, so I'm speaking about mostly about places where you would travel to, typically as a tourist. I know everyone travels differently, but generally people travel to main cities here in the US. And I would recommend to drink the tap water. Yeah, the tap water is generally okay in almost all those places. Authentic Vietnamese cuisine, amazing. And I'm walking slow in order to avoid this guy. He's a bit he's talking to himself earlier, and he keeps looking back. Suspicious about the camera, so let's wait about like 5 minutes so he can continue going ahead. Hopefully he turns soon. It happens sometimes when making these videos in public with homeless people, especially in America. They get very suspicious that you're filming them, even though I'm just walking the street and filming not them. I'm filming the architecture. So let's wait until he really walks very forward. Let me know if that's happened to you while being a tourist. I know a lot of us just like take photos or take videos of the sites. Let me know if that ever happens to you. It happens more in America than I encounter in Europe. Europe, usually people don't care. Madrid, I think Spain was the only place where I also got those weird looks. Mag says all the time. So, let's see. 4K says 4K, yes, 4K Wanderer, Ben. This show, while I do generally talk about history, is mostly urban exploring. I rarely do a route or a plan. It's very rare that happens, unless if there's something really interesting about that I really want to talk about. But generally, it's urban exploration with history, food, and culture sprinkled in. Great info, Chris. This includes 19 reservoirs and 13 controlled lakes. At the moment, only water from the Catskill and Delaware systems is being supplied to NYC, a new facility to treat water from the Croton system. Yeah, thank you so much, Chris, for letting us know. Here's the Alexandria Courthouse. Pretty mighty courthouse over here. Let's take a look inside. Who wants to check out the courthouse? Usually, ironically, the odd man is going to the courthouse. Interesting. Interesting. Country Bakery, La Madeleine. French cafe, interesting. What's with the scooters just parked? Here in Virginia and Washington, D.C., and many other cities, also including many cities in Europe, there are scooter services. There's various services competing against each other, such as Lyft, Lime, Razor, and there's a few others. And basically it's like Uber, works the same way. You just take out your app, rent the scooter, ride it wherever you want to ride it. They pay you per the distance you went, and you just leave it there in the street. I think later on the services pick them up, round them up, and put in specific locations around the city where people tend to rent them the most. So that is a scooter. It's a concept called last mile transit. Last mile transit means that generally you can get to anywhere by public transit or by bus, or via rapid transit. But generally, that last mile is tricky in many cities. One of those cities being here in Virginia, and also in DC, where yes, there's a metro stop, but as you can see, it's pretty far away from the historic town area. So that's what is the last mile. Makes it easy to transport. Bicycles also serve that function in major cities. However, it's a bit controversial because some cities have had issues with piles of scooters and broken scooters just piling up in the middle of the street. That's happened in New York City. And New York City has banned them. Are there breweries nearby? Ooh, I don't know, Huss. I'm not entirely sure what's the beer scene in Virginia. Will you be going to Gettysburg? Arlington, I might do a... Gettysburg is a bit far, I think. Yeah, it's a bit far. I'm not entirely sure what's the tour situation in these more historic areas. This service is called Hellbiz. And they're all GPS tracked. Right here. Let's cross. We got 12 seconds. Go, 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 go. 7 seconds. Will we make it? 7 seconds. 4 seconds. Will we get there? Historic Bank Building. Burke and Herbert Bank Trust. Ooh. We have a historic plaque. Let's check this out. Here stood the home of Colonel John Fitzgerald, favorite aide-de-camp and bosom friend of Washington? What is a bosom friend? Am I reading that correct? Bosom? Like how the British talk about a bosom? Or is that a different meaning? Bad service here. Okay. So here we have a historic house. And here's the Ramsey House. Bosom is a best friend. All right, cool. It sounds like it stands for something very different, but that's awesome. So best friend. Bad service here. Uh-oh. So here's a historic house. All right, let me. Alright, so bad service back there, the historic house, so I couldn't stay and read the sign. But if anyone could let us know what the house is about. Oh, bad service here. I'm not sure why. I hear jazz though. Ariel says, the other executive producer says, hello. Thank you for tuning in to historic Alexandria. I remember it. It's bringing back so many memories from traveling here when I was much younger. Ooh, some jazz. 340 people watching. Oh, cool. A lot of people watch on YouTube now. Hello, Akin. Gelato and coffee is great behind that house. Oh, thank you for letting us know. There's the famous ice cream shop up front. And Manolito recommended Il Porto right over here. I remember going to Il Porto and being blown away, actually. Yeah. I came here with family. Oh, yeah. So this is an Italian restaurant. I'm not sure if it's open. Is that clarinet? Yeah, it is. So this is bringing a lot of memories back because I actually came here, one time I came here to Washington, D.C. It was because a cousin of mine who was only in his mid-30s, he was about my age, just a bit older. He ended up getting a very severe type of cancer, and the only place he can get a bone marrow transplant was here in Washington, D.C. He was from Puerto Rico. And his family came, and then we came to accompany him during that procedure. And we actually came to this restaurant. Yeah, it was one of the last times I hung out with him. So it's so sad that he left so early. Yeah. So here's the famous ice cream store. Deepest sympathies. Thank you, everyone. It was quite a while back. It was about 15 years ago. Ice cream. Ooh, okay. So stop here afterwards. Let me show you the waterfront first. I wonder if people still live above the stores. They do. And yeah, my with my cousin, it was during the 4th of July, so we also went to see the fireworks display on there. It was really mind-blowing display as well. So, is it common to have these small historic streets in America? I'm actually being pleasantly surprised the more I visit in this area of Mid-Atlantic / New England, because they're right next to each other, close to New York City, that there is a lot of walkable tiny cities, which you don't see too much in other locations. So I'm pleasantly surprised that there's more than I expected. I didn't think there was going to be that many walkable cities. But I don't think it's common for the general American to experience small cities like these, walkable cities like these. So here's a Ben & Jerry's. They started nearby in New England, I think. Yeah, Vermont. Oh, a little gift store. Look at this. The Gentleman's Quarters is what it's called. No, this is called the Old Town Shop. Lorraine says, so many wonderful memories indeed. All right, let's go inside.
The roof of the car and how they're so cute. I don't think they're required. I think
Don't knock anything over. Luckily I have a small backpack. Old Town Books, ooh, bookstore. Yeah, so that was a gift shop. Very nice little gifts and also a cool selection of books. They had a historic haunted Alexandria book and a haunted Georgetown book. And here's another bookstore. Get a souvenir, t-shirt, and look like a tourist, says Chris. You know, I usually don't buy t-shirts. I don't even wear t-shirts, period. It's not my favorite type of clothing to wear. And when as a tourist, I usually don't buy clothing as a souvenir. My souvenirs are books, personally. You know, what's your favorite type of souvenir? I do love stopping at bookstores, yeah. And here is the waterfront area. Oh, it looks nice. Let's first go this way. Mugs for Joe. The Torpedo Art Center straight ahead. All right. Good bookstores in DC. Yeah. Just drop it off on the merch site, discounted, of course, and I'll get it, says Chris. You can get an Urbanist t-shirt if you want. teespring.com/stores/Urbanist. If anyone wants to put the link in the comments, I do offer Urbanist merch. If you really love this show and want to represent it, there's shirts, there's tote bags, there's also masks as well. And look at the sky, yeah, beautiful. So here's the mighty Potomac, the river that George Washington wanted the nation's capital to be along. At first he picked Georgetown, but Georgetown wasn't quite ideal to build the nation's capital from scratch. And he also was contemplating maybe Alexandria also wasn't quite ideal, and thus he picked something fairly close to each of them. There's also a ferry terminal. Ooh, cool. Good to know. Adam, awesome. Thank you for all the extra information. Calm waters. Yeah, we have some ducks. 4K Wanderer, thank you so much for putting the links. Little Hello Kitty-ish. I want the likeness of Ariel and signs, says Chris. All right, Chris. Maybe one day I'll sell that. I'll do it when I reach 1 million followers. Thank you for putting up. All right, let's see what we can spot from here. Washington, D.C., where are you at? Hello, Manny. Nice to see you here. You can see the obelisk from here. All right. I'm not sure which direction I should be looking. Calm waters here, yeah, very calm waters. And let me know what's across the water. Pardon my lack of knowledge for the geography. Thank you, O'Quinn, for hitting the like button. How deep is the water? I'm not entirely sure, though I would say it might not be as deep as the Hudson, I think. Because I don't think it ever was a major waterway, especially for building like huge Navy ships. I might be wrong, but let me know. Let me know if anyone knows for sure. So I plan on visiting Philadelphia. No, I think this is the last of my tours until hopefully next year. January, maybe December. I'll be avoiding travel on November. November you'll be seeing New York and maybe something in upstate New York. It's a Black Hawk. It did look like a Black Hawk. Yeah. So there is the Department of Defense has a bunch of buildings all around here. So who knows? Maybe it's a 4K Wanderer. Okay, 4K Wanderer. Thank you for letting us know. 107 feet near Morgantown. That doesn't sound too deep, I think. Let me know how it compares to Hudson or say the Mississippi. Let me know, what is this bridge over here? What does it connect? What's the connection? B. Griffin says there are many Black Hawk and some other military aircraft in my area due to the Sikorsky factory being nearby. Oh, interesting. All right, let's walk down here. Let's see what's all the way down here. There's a canoe. Who wants to jump in the canoe? Let me know. Maybe we can canoe across the Potomac, just like George Washington did. If we want to complete the George Washington experience, maybe we'll... I got mosquitoes biting me. Bring mosquito repellent if you're in Washington, D.C. and nearby areas. I'm getting bitten by some very mean mosquitoes. Why is FB giving you a hard time? I don't think FB is giving me a hard time. Nope. Not specifically. I think it's just technology issues. There are always PSY-op helicopters across my head, so no, I couldn't. Average depth of the Mississippi is only 12 feet? Whoa. Mississippi's that shallow. All right, thank you for letting us know. The DC Metro goes to Alexandria. Yes, it does. Nearby, it was walking distance. Basically, you saw the entire walk here on this live video. So you got a sense of how far it is. I took a detour, but it's pretty close by. Nice channel, says Gil. Oh, thank you, Gil. I appreciate it. Whew. Hot here today. I should have brought shorts for this trip. I'm wearing here long black jeans, looking like a typical New Yorker. It's summer weather here. You know, this is a momentous event, everyone. And this is a momentous event. I just realized that we are officially in the South. Virginia is considered southern U.S. It's called the South. So this is the first broadcast from the South. That's so cool. So welcome to the South, everyone. The weather definitely does not disappoint here in the South. Yep, Virginia is considered the South. Ooh, nice chairs here. It's 81 in DC. Okay, no wonder. Here's a sculpture. You can walk that bridge, says Jonathan. Oh, good to know. How do you beat the crowd? How do I beat the crowd? There's not that many crowds to beat in this pandemic season, unfortunately. So let me drink some water and continue on. It's pretty hot here, so 81 degrees, yeah. It's kind of hotter than I expected. It looks like the locals think it's cold. Yeah. There's a lot of locals with a jean jacket or like a light sweater. I don't know how. Like, to me, this is pretty hot weather. Maybe they're more used to, 90-degree weather during the summertime. Did I check the weather this morning? I did. I checked the weather, and it literally said, on the weather app that's supposed to be the best one, Weather Underground, 77 degrees around there, Fahrenheit, and cloudy weather the entire day. And then suddenly, boom, 2 hours later, after I check out that weather and think to myself, this is going to be a pretty cool day. All the clouds disperse like Moses parting the Red Sea. And then suddenly, the temperature rises and it's very hot and very sunny. Hence why I didn't bring any sunblock. Didn't bring any sunblock. That's the only thing I would wear. Otherwise, I'm okay with the heat. I think Yo Weather is the best weather app. Yeah, let me know, what's the best weather app? I keep using Weather Underground, and you keep telling me the opposite of what's going to happen. Let's continue walking around. Let me know if there's anything interesting else to showcase in this area of Alexandria. And like your chest here, says Chris. I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you. Do you get some same level of anarchy here as NYC? No, zero anarchy here. It's not like in NYC where there's people reading on the streets. There's rampant cyclists there, and also New York City. With the anarchy problem, there's also a lot of guys riding skateboards in skate parks. So New York City is in very dire situation. Things are very serious there. People are eating outside and drinking $15 cocktails. It's tough over there. Over here it's much nicer. Over here, no anarchy here. People here, wearing their jean jackets in 80-degree weather. It's much more of a reason, much more of a calmer city. I'm joking, everyone. Of course, I'm being satirical. It's a joke. There's no anarchy in New York. There are rampant people reading on benches in the street, but it's not anarchy, in my opinion. Oh, nice little quaint cafes. I like this. With outdoor seating, it's nice. I'm spreading New York anarchy, maybe, with my floral shirts. Spreading all that New York anarchy. Wearing floral shirts, a very nice mask. Talking about history. Ooh. Anarchy to the max. When we talk about history, oh, things are going down. Continue walking to the ferry terminal, and maybe you can see downtown DC. This is Adam. All right, Adam. Which way is it? You think I look great in pink? Oh, cool to hear. Thank you. Okay, I'll show you the ferry terminal. We're coming up across it very soon. Iced coffee time? Maybe. Let's see. But look, before we go, have a nice coffee. Oh my God, the street. Whoa, cobblestone street, as we hear cobbler in the distance. This is Prince Street yet again. So Prince Street appears to be one of the best streets to walk through for historic architecture. Let's walk up, let's zigzag through on cobblestones, which are terrible. Well, it can either be good for your feet or terrible for your feet. Depends on your perspective. If you walk around with Converses, you feel every single stone, so it's almost like a massage for your feet. But if you come here with high heels, it might be a different story. This is a gorgeous street. Wow. Picturesque. This is like a good massage for your feet. I'm enjoying this. Walking on cobblestones. Is that Queen Street? We are right now at Prince Street. Not King, not Queen, not Princess, and not Duke. Oh my God. There's a pattern. King, Prince, Queen, Duke. Oh my God. I know where they're heading. I know what they're talking about. They're talking about playing cards. Is there a Joker Street? Is there a Ace of Spades Street? Oh, no. What are they talking about? Oh, are they making references to New York City? No, I don't think, not quite. Oh, it's royalty. Oh, I get it. There we go. We figured it out. The patterns have all connected. Barron Street, Marquis Street. Yep, I mean, that's the only way to continue the pattern. That was a gorgeous street. Wow. Art exhibition here, the Athenaeum. I'll take a peek at from the outside. Let's see. Hey, is it open to the public?
Yes, it is.
Oh, awesome, thank you.
On this floor,
Yeah.
nothing downstairs. Okay?
Okay.
This room in the back.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you. Or were they for sale? Yes, I think they were. Generally, when you see those private art galleries, they are. They won't put a price tag, of course. Generally, they don't. So yes, they were for sale. Cool historic building. Let's check out one more block. Let's see. More places like this should be open during the pandemic. Yeah, it would be nice. Cool architecture. It seems very open, which is nice. Big windows too. I think this pandemic has shown us that we need more open architecture, things that have more windows, more draft inside. And here's a historic house. This is Colonel Michael Soup House. This house was built between 1784 and 1786 by Colonel Michael Soup, a Revolutionary War battalion commander, and his wife, Ava Coon Soup. Originally from York, Pennsylvania, Colonel Soup was taken prisoner by the British at the beginning of the war in exchange for Benjamin Franklin's loyalist son. Following, oh my God, Benjamin Franklin had a loyalist son for the other side? Oh wow, some drama over here. He and his family moved to Alexandria in 1784, where he moved to the ship Chandlerly. The house remained in the Soup family until 1823. Beautiful. I like his name, Soup. Soup. Like hard P. At least that's how I choose to pronounce it. Ron says, cheers, Ariel. Excellent exploration. Dude, thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate it. Non-stop exploration. Oh, yeah. More places like this should be open. Art, food, travel. This channel has all, indeed. I am an expert in abstract artists. Amazing, Kin. Alexandria's overpriced organic fair trade coffee is as good as Tribeca's overpriced coffee. All right, Mr. Jones, it sounds like you're being a little bit satirical or sarcastic. Crazy how human history runs under our noses, says ASMR timestamps. Oh, yeah. Yes, he did. It was a bitter relationship. The son went off to Britain and never saw his father again. Oh no, it's not cool. It's not cool at all. Not cool. Kind of messed up. Two-hour parking here. Another historic. All these houses are historic. I take photos from the doors in Prince Street. Yeah, great place to take photos here. Someone's moving in to this historic house. This place looks like Beacon Hill. It does have a very similar look to Beacon Hill. And you know what? Who knows? It might be inspired by the same architect's work, Charles Bulfinch. So maybe, who knows? Adam, turn right. All right, Adam. Rip Joe Rogan. Oh, not sure what you're referring to. I hope he's okay. Shoe store, wow. A shoe store hidden inside a old house. That's so cool. Yeah, so this looks a lot like historic Boston. Go back to Old Alexandria Harbor. Oh yeah, we will. But on these videos, we do take our time, so Patience is key. Of course, you can always watch the replay and skip around. Looks like it could be a part of a Hallmark movie. Indeed, ASMR, yeah. How much cellular data do you use on these streams? I don't know. I just have the unlimited plan for Verizon. I don't keep track, to be honest. Not sure. Hi, Frigina, welcome. Old Town is similar to Annapolis. Ooh, interesting. Beacon Hill is a very expensive neighborhood, yet due to its proximity, basically being right in the middle of Boston. Here, yep, similar houses, but not quite as expensive. Hey, Aiden, it's been well. Just enjoying the views. We're gonna see what else we can find in this area of Old Town Alexandria. Waiting for the walk sign. There it is. Did I finish my pumpkin bread? Nope, it's in my backpack. I'm gonna eat that later at home or my Airbnb. Check out what this plaza is all about. I like the Hallmark movies, especially the holiday ones. Yeah. Maybe one day 5G will see your streams in 4K. I think it's going to happen very soon. I wouldn't doubt it. 5G is able to stream in 4K if the signal stays steady. So I think rather than sooner than later, you'll be seeing 4K streams. This is going to be so awesome. We have 5G here in Birmingham. Oh, cool. Is that England? Are you referring to Birmingham, England, or is it a city in the U.S.? This is Alexandria Town Hall. Here's a sculpture. Lorraine, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Hey, Lorraine also taking part in sponsoring the eventual meal we're gonna have to end this broadcast. So there will be a mukbang portion of this. Mukbang means eating food on camera. Keep going and you will keep going up King and you'll hit Murphy's Pub, says Scott. Ooh, interesting, Scott. What food do you recommend in Murphy's Pub? Check out. Ooh, cool architecture down there. Let's check what this is about. Is the mukbang up next? It's going to be within this broadcast, probably in 15 minutes or so. This is the Carlisle House Historic Park, House Museum and Gardens. Let's take a close look. It's built in 1752, restored in 1976. I hope you get sponsored by a sneaker company. Converse, hit me up. Happy to be sponsored by you. Love Converses. All right, let's check it out. So Carlisle House Historic Park. This unique building was constructed of stone and set back from the street and was built by John Carlisle, a British merchant and one of the original founders of Alexandria, witness to both domestic life and war. Today the house stands as a museum dedicated to the story of Carlisle's journey from British citizen to American patriot. But who was John Carlisle? John Carlisle first came to America as a merchant's factor or agent. While in Virginia, he met and married Sarah Fairfax. Oh, that last name might be very important. A member of the wealthy Fairfax family. As a second son, John Carlisle would have difficulty becoming prosperous in England, but in the New World he was quickly able to become a prominent landowner, merchant, and town leader. Between 1751 and 1753, John Carlisle built this home using aquia sandstone. Although the outer layer of the sandstone was replaced, you can still see the original material on the cornice, just below the roof line. What happened here, though? Only 2 years after moving in, the Carlyles received an historic visit. General Edward Braddock, sent by the King of England, made the home his headquarters in 1755. On April 13th, 5 royal colonial governors arrived at the house for what John Carlisle called the grandest congress ever known on this continent. Here, Braddock and the governors discussed their strategy for the French and Indian War, including how they would fund it. It was agreed that Parliament would need to compel the colonists to pay by levying taxes, a decision which would one day contribute to the American Revolution. Dun dun dun. Uh-oh. So, this is the house where they discussed rising taxes. Interesting. It probably wasn't entirely up to them because Parliament made those calls back in England, and I'm not sure if military was involved with Parliament. But 1755 was the year of the French-Indian War, and for perspective, French-Indian War was a battle that here they call it North American French-Indian War, but the French-Indian War was also the 7 Years' War, which was fought in various continents around the world. It was basically the proto-World War, and it was fought in Europe, there was battles fought in Asia, and there was battles fought in Africa. And that war bankrupted England, even though they end up winning. France ended up losing a bunch of holdings here in North America, and then later on, of course, they kept part of Louisiana and they were sold off. So why did the American Revolution even take place? Well, it's because Britain was so broke after this war with France, basically the proto-World War, basically the precedent for World War I, because there was also a power struggle with Prussia, and Prussia ended up, splitting off parts of it with unified Germany a little bit later. They needed money, and they barely had men. So they taxed the American colonists, which was the most prosperous area at that time, especially after the war. Now, Benjamin Franklin, we learned a little bit earlier, he had a falling off with his son because his son was a hardcore loyalist. But actually, in retrospect, I wouldn't blame his son being a hardcore loyalist because that's what Ben Franklin was before being a patriot. Ben Franklin was also pretty hesitant in supporting the American Revolutionary cause because he actually wanted to integrate the American colonies into Britain. So much so that he proposed to British officials that Philadelphia should become the new capital of the British Empire, no longer London, but move it across the pond. Of course, the Brits weren't cool with that. They wanted to concentrate power where it originally began, in England. They probably weren't even cool with even splitting power with Scotland. Hence, they banned a bunch of things in Scotland as well. So it was a very bloody time in history, and then, of course, the American Revolution started. So it's interesting seeing that piece of history here. Are they related to the Carlisle Group largest firm? I don't know. So I mentioned Fairfax, and I mentioned that's very interesting because we are right now in Fairfax County of Virginia. So the Fairfax family was very wealthy landowners here. Here's a cannon pointed at the courthouse. Uh-oh. the Braddock campaign and the Carlisle House. And Aiden says, we're a small island nation. Our empire was all we had to go to defend ourselves. Yeah, indeed. I think that's why UK wanted to concentrate power in England. Can we see the little cannon behind you? Yes, let me show you the cannon. And I'll read what it says here. We're still in Alexandria. Did I do a bench test? I did not do a bench test yet. No, not yet. Here's the British crown. What is war good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again now. Nice reference. And I agree. War is not good for anything. I may cover a lot of wars because they make for interesting history and retrospect, but if I had the choice, if I were in power, I would not make any wars. I think wars ultimately are silly things. From March 26th through April 20th, 1775, the town of Alexandria served as the center of operations for Major General Edward Braddock, Commander-in-Chief of the British forces in North America. He chose the finest house in town, John Carlisle's, as his headquarters. And let's see what he does later. On April 20th, 1755, General Braddock and his 2,500-man army left Alexandria and began the arduous journey to Fort Dunsk, at present-day Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This strategic French fort controlled the forks of the Ohio River and therefore the gateway to the west. Braddock's army dragged 4 howitzers, 4 12-pounder cannons, and 4 6-pounder cannons, which we see over here. Like the one that was barely passable through roads and forests and over mountains. On July 9th, the French and their Native American allies attacked the British forces, mortally wounding Braddock and killing or wounding 2/3 of his troops. This devastating defeat, known as the Battle of Monongahela, and ended Braddock's expedition. Braddock's volunteer aide-de-camp, the young George Washington, he served in the French-Indian War, interesting, had 2 horses shot from under him but survived the battle. Washington's heroism in this pivotal battle saved the British Army from total annihilation and elevated his reputation as a renowned military leader. And the war continues. I tell you, a Marvel Cinematic Universe style series of films can be made about the American Revolution. Imagine a movie about Carlisle, Braddock, and a young George Washington. And then later on, we have another movie about a Alexander Hamilton coming from Nevis in the Caribbean. And then we have another movie of a young courtroom drama about John Adams. And of course, we end up having a movie about Thomas Jefferson and becoming a wealthy farmer. Imagine all that combining together later on to make an epic American Revolutionary War movie. That'd be really interesting. All right, let's continue walking. There's a ferry to Georgetown? Joe says, great history lesson. Thank you, Joe. The museum is open. Interesting. Get script writing, says Kay. Indeed, Kay. Let me see. Last tour is 4 p.m. Oh, interesting. Hey, before I maybe enter this museum, can anyone let me know what's the next ferry after the 15-minute one? What's the next one? And how does one pay for it? I don't know anything about the ferry system here. So let me know, how do I pay for it? And what's the one after this one? Let me know. I'm very curious because I love ferries and I love showing ferries on live video. And I think a lot of people also love ferries. So let me know. Maybe we'll go after eating. Let me know how often the ferry passes or when do they end. Okay, let's go inside. Ooh, awesome. I would love to see it.
The 3 o'clock tour if you're interested in a guided house tour.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the only way to see the upstairs of the house. So it's $5.
Well, what time is it right now?
It's 3:11, so you've missed just the 6-minute video
Okay.
and a little bit of what Henry's talking about.
Okay, so I can catch up there?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'll love that. All right. Can I pay cash?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Right over here.
Right. Okay.
Thank you so
So
much.
if you want to run straight up to
Yes.
where Henry is and let him know you paid, and I said it.
Okay.
Harry said it was okay.
Perry said it was okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah.
We've actually covered a few of those.
Hi. Sorry to interrupt. Perry said that I could join the tour. I just paid.
Oh, okay.
Is it okay?
All
All right.
right.
Awesome. Thank you.
We're just talking about the fact that this was riverfront property when the house was first finished, and I'm showing them an early map of Alexandria.
Oh, wonderful.
And John Carlisle used lots 41 and 42 here, about an acre of land actually. So now though, because of the landfill they did, the river's 2 streets further away. So that's obviously a big change if John Carlisle were able to come back. The other big change is told by this artist's rendition of the property showing the house, but as you can see there's a lot of other outbuildings. One of those was a warehouse towards the back of the property. John Carlisle was a merchant, so he had ships coming from various parts of the world, and they were bringing things from those places. He also had a complex here on the front lawn, which would have included another warehouse, a store for selling the things that his ships brought over, but also an office. Here, the building on this side of the front lawn was actually the kitchen. When the Carlisle family lived here, if you were wealthy, you did not want a kitchen in your house. There was an enormous fire risk, the heat during the summer, the smells. There were no screens in any windows then, so you can imagine flies and other bugs. So there was great value, really, if you could, to keep the kitchen away from the main house, and that's in fact what they did. They also had a lot of those smaller buildings. Some of those were likely slaves' quarters. John Carlisle was a major slaveholder. We know there were enslaved people here as servants. Likely slaves helped to load and unload the ships that John Carlisle owned. But he also just happened to own 3 plantations in different parts of Virginia, which would certainly have used an enslaved workforce as well. A couple of the things, as you heard in the film, now you didn't see the introductory film, but General Braddock used this house as his headquarters at the beginning of the French-Indian War. This is a replica of a kind of cannon that he would have brought for fighting the French and their Indian allies. And of course, he leaves here and heads out for what is today and is annihilated basically in the process. But the British and the colonies do win the war eventually. If we fast forward just before the Civil War, a man by the name of James Green purchases this house for his family, but at the time he also purchases this brick building just behind you, and he converts that into a luxury hotel. And then later, because it's so successful, he decides to build a multi-story addition to that hotel right here on the front lawn of his own house. And what's significant, of course, is that hotel is later commandeered by the Union Army to serve as a Civil War hospital. And as you saw in the film, parts of the hospital that building were torn down during the restoration, but we still have part of the original hospital right behind you.
How long did it stay a hospital?
It stayed during the Civil War, and
Okay.
so the 4 years, roughly 4 years or so that the Union Army occupied Alexandria, it was a hospital. It gets converted back to a hotel, but it never does as well as they were doing before the Civil War. Lots of change.
And was the kitchen used to be attached to that building? I see like markers of a.
Probably freestanding at that time.
Oh, it's freestanding.
So-
Okay.
But you're actually right because you're seeing the effect of the hotel being attached to this building.
Oh,
So
interesting.
that's why shown on the front is lighter colored. That would have been where the hotel was. This would have been a gap between the back of the hotel and the front of the house.
Mm.
Well, we should head in. A couple of things. We are also doing something very different inside, and that is, in most cases, you will be looking into each room from the hallway, so through the door, and there's a plexiglass divider in each of those doorways, so don't bump into it if you can avoid that. Photography is allowed in the house as long as you don't use flash.
Okay.
And we also ask you not to use any videos of the house for security reasons.
Okay.
But otherwise photos are fine either with a phone or a camera. Obviously you're in a museum, so please don't touch or lean on things as we go through the house. We'll walk into two rooms in the house during the tour. The rest we'll be talking about them from the hallway. So.
Why the black sheep?
Okay, well, you're visiting at a very sad time. If you were hoping to meet John Carlisle, he died earlier today. And so, again,
Wow.
again, so that's a hatchment, and it's certainly in a wealthy household. It's the way they announced that there had been a death in the house. And as we go through the house today, you will basically be viewing what was done at the time of the death. So we'll go from the master bedchamber where John Carlisle has just been. They've done bloodletting as a treatment. It did not work. They've washed the body. When we're in the dining room later, the coffin is there today. The house is in mourning. It's dark. All the mirrors are covered. We'll talk more about that. So there's a lot of things to observe that would not be the case if you had come here a month ago. So every 6 weeks or so, the house changes. And so we're once again commemorating John Carlisle's death in 1780.
Which was actually what day?
We don't know the day. It was in the fall, though.
Okay.
And we don't know cause of death either. So there's a lot of little things that we'd like to know that we don't know.
Do you know how old he was?
He was 60 years old, which was quite good at the time because the average man probably lived to about 40.
We would come at Christmas time. Would it be decorated for Christmas?
It would, but in those days there wouldn't be much in the way of decoration.